All right, guys. I want to talk about how OP Cleric is, but we're going to talk about a build for it, okay? And it's not really a big Cleric build. It's more just utilizing Cleric, right? So if you want to be an OP spellcaster, this is the build for you, okay? This is Tempest Cleric. So what is Tempest Cleric? Tempest is just literally a Cleric subclass called the Tempest Domain. As you can see, it gives you right here at level 1 a reaction where you do 2 to 16 lightning or thunder on somebody who attacks you. Not very good, but when we hit level 2, that's where this build is going to come online, okay? So we just need to put two levels in a Tempest Cleric and then the rest into basically whatever you want as a spellcaster. Recommended, though, it would be like obviously 10 levels in Abjuration Wizard, I think, are really good, or Evocation Wizard can be good as well. Depending on what you're going for, but I like Abjuration because it's super OP. You could also do Sorcerer, that's good as well. Warlock is not as good. I wouldn't do Warlock. Probably, yeah, Sorcerer or Wizard because of their access to lightning damage. And also, I mean, like, Warlock doesn't have as many spell slots as them. They usually are going to be better. I don't think Warlock gets access to, for example, Chain Lightning. Let's take a look at the wiki. Chain Lightning. Baldur's Gate 3. Sorcerers and wizards, yep, get access to this, though at level 11. But because you're cleric, you should still be able to get the spell slot, the level 6 spell slot. So probably what you're going to want to do is roll wizard for this, actually. But you could still get Marco Heshkir, or however the fuck you say that. This staff is super OP. It gives you a chain lightning and a lightning bolt every short rest. Which is amazing. So that means you're getting what, like, if you have it on Wizard, for example, you could, I don't think you can recover your 6th level spell slot at level 10 with the arcane charges, but you should be able to have like an amulet to do it. So you could get 1, 2, and then plus the 1, 2, like at least 4 chain lightnings off, 4 or 5, I don't know. So yeah, Wizard's probably going to be it, but you could roll Sorcerer. So first we grab 2 levels of Cleric. So we grab Cleric. Cantrips, you know, obviously, like I usually say, don't really matter, but Resistance and Guidance are always pretty good picks. I kind of shit on Resistance, but this can be okay for when you need to do saving throws instead of ability checks during dialogue. And I think it's more worth it, unless you're the face of the party, which you're not. I'm a Cleric / spellcaster. But I guess you could choose Thaumaturgy if you are. Otherwise, Sacred Flame is okay. I think Produce Flame might be better, but Blade Ward is probably your best bet. You're never going to be casting Blade Ward, actually. Grab one of these two, Sacred Flame or Produce Flame. Either one's fine. And then obviously, like I said, Tempest Domain. And then for our stats, okay? Our stats, it's going to be tough here. It really depends on what your actual spell casting stat is going to be, because the Tempest one doesn't matter. So you might be thinking Wisdom, not so. So if you're going to be going a wizard, which I actually highly recommend after looking at what I needed to, for more chain lightnings, but if you're going to get Marka Heshkir, obviously that's good too, but that's not till Act 3. You don't get chain lightning till Act 3 anyway. And I believe lightning bolt you get on both sorcerer and wizard. So if you really don't give a shit about the extra level 6 spell slot, then you could totally just grab Marka Heshkir and be fine. I had no problem with that. So if you go wizard, which, like I said, I always think is the more OP option. I think wizards are generally, because of abjuration specifically, better than sorcerers, at least for damage dealing if you're trying to haste cast. Here we are, but then you roll intelligence 17. But if you're going to go and you could be the face of the party, actually, if you chose sorcerer, and then you could grab Thaumaturgy. Then you could go full charisma 17. For the purpose of this build, I'm going to go ahead and do Wizard for this one. So I'm going to put 15 in, 17. But like I said, you can grab whatever. And then I would say 10 Wisdom here, because one of these stats is going to be 10. And then we'll do like... It's in between Constitution and Dexterity. Now here's the thing. If you go Sorcerer, I believe you can grab the one like Call Lightning or something like that, which you can't get on Wizard, I don't think. Let's take a look at the wiki. We always got to consult the wiki, boys. Call Lightning. I believe you can't get this on Wizard, but you can get this on Sorcerer. I don't think there's a scroll for this. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's a scroll for this. Yeah, level 5 you could get on Tempest Cleric, but we won't be hitting level 5 on this. Theoretically, you could go full Tempest Cleric if you wanted. But I don't think it's really that good if we actually straight up look at the Tempest domain. Obviously, at level 2, we're getting Destructive Wrath, by the way, which is, I guess I'll just show you on the wiki right now. Destructive Wrath is why we're grabbing this. When you roll Thunder or Lightning damage, you can use your Channel Divinity and a reaction to deal maximum damage instead. So that means, you know how there's like a roll, like if you do damage with Lightning Bolt, it's like between 8 and 32 or 8 and 48, something like that. You will guaranteed do the 48 damage, and that's to every opponent you hit with the attack. And if they're wet, the reason why this is so good is if you get them wet, then you're gonna do double that damage. So for Chain Lightning, for example, it's like 160 damage, and then it bounces to 3 other people. If it's a huge target, it does it to Chain Lightning actually hits that huge target with all of its attacks. So you can literally melt a huge like target like a dragon or something like that in one hit. All you got to do is get them wet. But for one of the bosses, you can't get them wet, but it's still a huge amount of damage. Like, so yeah, it's massive, guys. But Call Lightning, obviously very good, which you can get from Tempest. But let's look at the other stuff here. Ice Storm isn't going to be a huge benefit to us because we won't be able to use our Channel Divinity on it. But Call Lightning will be, and it's very spell slot effective because you can use it for 10 turns or whatever without using another spell slot. But it is concentration, so that could be broken, in which case you'd want more Constitution so that you could be more successful on those checks. Thunderbolt Strike at level 6, right? That is large or smaller. You can push it up to 10 feet. I don't think this is very good. I don't think it's worth it. 1 to 8d thunder damage in addition to your target's weapon damage, and Destructive Wave, which is a thunder spell. You see why I don't really see the point in getting this past level 2. It's just these abilities are these spells. Call Lightning is the only spell that really helps you out. Thunderbolt Strike is not very good, and basically everything here is kind of ass. Destructive Wave is cool, and it would do a lot of damage with thunder, but we want to take advantage of wet in this game because wet is double damage. So we need to be more like mindful of that rather than getting this other dog shit. It's really just not worth it to put the rest in Cleric, but it is worth it to put the rest in Wizard or Sorcerer. Sorcerer can be your face. Sorcerer has a lot of sorcery points, right? Which are really good to, I mean, you could cast 2 spells in 1 turn. However, because it uses a reaction, you wouldn't be able to double the damage. So that's another reason why I kind of see Wizard as a more practical choice for class. And you just really can't beat Abjuration. But like I said, either one is still strong. And I guess if you had, I don't think there's really any single target lightning spells either, so you couldn't do Twin Cast because it has to be on a single target, I believe. So yeah. So yeah, either Intelligence or Charisma based on your choice. Dexterity or Constitution right there. Should both be at 14. And then you can choose which one you want to take to 16. I think Constitution is probably the better choice if you want to ever concentrate on anything, which as a spellcaster, you probably at least want to concentrate on something, right? Typically, especially if you're going to be getting Call Lightning or whatever, Call Storm, whatever, on Sorcerer, then take Constitution. Otherwise, Dexterity is nice to go quicker. I mean, going quicker is nice. An additional 1 on your initiative rolls will be pretty decent. For your skills, it doesn't really matter. You don't really get a lot of choices. I mean, Persuasion, probably, if you're going to be the face. Sorcerer, otherwise, yeah, who gives a shit, right? I never give a shit about skill proficiencies except if you're going to be, like, the lockpicker, or if you're going to be the face of the party. And then also, if you can get Athletics, Acrobatics, those are really good, too. And Stealth, I guess. Those are probably the best to grab for everybody else, but as you see, we don't have access to those right now. All right. So level 2, like I said, we just get what we are here for, Destructive Wrath. Prepare spells doesn't really matter, but 100% you need Create or Destroy Water. I think somebody else should be casting this, or maybe you have somebody throw water at the opponent you want to hit. If they go before you, that's very useful. Otherwise, I mean, you probably want to take like Healing Word. I mean, that's just nice to pick up your guys throughout the whole game. Another really powerful spell is Command. This spell is really slept on. Since you're going to be having a very, assuming you're the only spellcaster in the party, like truly offensive spellcaster, you should be getting a lot of spell save DC and spell attack rolls, right? But this is going to be affected by the spell save DC. I think this is better spent. Ooh, if you're sorcerer? Wait, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. If you rolled sorcerer, you could actually take command and then like quick cast or whatever, quicken spell. Command somebody to grovel or something to skip their turn and then hit everybody else with the lightning. So command is always an S tier choice. Otherwise, if you're just focused on dealing the damage, or maybe you're just like getting spell attack rolls or some shit and you're not the spell save DC guy, probably healing word. But either of these are good. I personally would probably take command, since I would most likely have this character be the only magic like damage dealer on the team. And then maybe I might have another magic person, but maybe they're a haste caster or something, you know, something like that. So it just really depends what you have in your party composition. But yeah, I wouldn't have two of basically people fulfilling the same role, especially with how gear focused the mages are in this game, I guess. The magic damage dealers and shit. Or controllers, whatever you want to call them, right? So let's do wizard for the sake of mine. But like I said, sorcerer is a very solid pick, especially with command in the I don't know, thrown in the ring. Yeah, we'll use that as a fucking thing. So yeah, but I'm gonna say wizard, and then cantrips. Like I said, none of this shit matters really, but I would always grab like a shocking grasp, ray of frost, just to maybe get that benefit if people are already wet. That's good. And then if you're the face, you probably have friends. I would take friends or something. Otherwise, since I'm picking wizard, I would say blade ward can be pretty good. Especially since for me, I'm gonna roll abjuration on here. Abjuration is really, really good. God, it's so good. Mage armor's okay, but it's really dependent. You can get some abjuration stacks. I forget what they're called. Ward, abjuration ward or something. That's what makes abjuration so good. You basically never take damage. It's one of the best honor mode builds. Early on in the game, sleep is really good, but since you're level 3, probably not going to make much use of it. I like shield. This doesn't build your ward stacks, which is really stupid, but shield is really good. Witch bolt at the early on, I mean, this is probably going to be it. This is another concentration, kind of like call lightning. I think this is not good, honestly. 12 damage is really shit, but if they're wet, it's 24. Which can be pretty killer in the early game, but I mean, a lot of other things do. Like, this can do up to 24 damage. Witch Bolt is honestly pretty pathetic for what it is. But maybe it's because of the double. I mean, but look, like, even doubled, yeah, you can concentrate on it, but 12 damage isn't anything. Like, this is a cantrip level damage. It's just really bad. I almost want to tell you guys not even to take this, even though we're doing Tempest, because it's so bad. But yeah, for like the spell save DC, Tasha's is pretty good in the early game. But I would probably take something like Longstrider, Featherfall. Just kind of be like your team's like backbone early, like at this level 3. And then like maybe like a magic missile. I just think Witch Bolt is so bad, but it just really is bad. Like Ice Knife is almost better. Honestly, I would say don't even make use of your Tempest thing. It's tough. Well, here's the thing about it. It's really sad because with Ice Knife, you can't use your Tempest thing, so you could roll lower. But if you roll a 22 with Ice Knife on somebody who's cold, you're not doing double because of the piercing, but you do double. Yeah, there's too many variables. I think Witch Bolt actually is more reliable with the Tempest. Can you just do Chromatic Orb, dude? Fuck this, dude. Grab Chromatic Orb and then do Lightning. If you can't do lightning, you can still do thunder. Yeah, I would do that actually. And then for the prepared spells, I'd say yeah, these are probably pretty good. Maybe instead of Featherfall, you take Chromatic Orb, and then you can just prepare Featherfall whenever you need. But keep Longstrider on there. Magic Missile's good too, just for guaranteed damage early on. All right, so Abjuration, this is where you could also choose Evocation, by the way, but all of these other subclasses, I hear a lot of people talk very good about Divination for the Portent Dice. During the day, your attack roll, saving throw, it's just not as good, guys, as Abjuration, in my opinion, because Abjuration makes you immortal, whereas this just makes sure that you don't really miss, I guess. It's okay. I mean, this is good. This is definitely better than all the other shitters in here. I'd say Divination might even be better than Evocation, probably. Actually, I'd almost guarantee it because of that, but Evocation is nice because your friends don't get hit by your spells. So if you have to lightning bolt and you're gonna kill your friend, honestly, it's probably not that big a deal, but it might be it could be the difference between life and death at some points, but it's very rare. It's just nice not to do damage to friendly targets with this. But Abjuration is always a better choice. Divination might also be a better choice for you. So it's between these three. And then for Sorcerer, I would say your subclass, Draconic Bloodline can be good if you choose one of the lightning ones, the ones that give you like the lightning bonus. Otherwise, the Storm one is also fine. Those are both good options. We never choose Wild Magic. Spell choice here, like I said, really doesn't matter. You just grab fucking whatever. It's bullshit. Tashes, I guess. Sleep can be good for the early game, but at level 4 you could still get use out of sleep. And then just keep what you had before. I would actually choose to add Magic Missile instead of one of the new ones we just picked up. And then, like I said, swap out Featherfall when you need it. But now we've got Abjuration stacks, so we're already reducing damage on Wizard and on Sorcerer. You've got, I guess, a couple new spells as well. Nothing big yet for Sorcerer. Level 2 spells. Unfortunately, not a lot of good level 2 spells yet for this build. It's level 3, we're going to unlock Lightning Bolt, and that's really going to be where we turn on. But I think at level 5, let's consult the wiki. At level 5, we got Call Lightning, right? Oh, no. Storm Sorcery Sorcerer is where we get Call Lightning. So I take back what I said, guys. Take Storm Sorcerer instead of Draconic Bloodline. You could argue for Draconic Bloodline, but Call Lightning is really solid. 30 damage every turn. Very good. Very, very good. But you aren't going to get that till level 6. And that's class level 6. So I was actually just tripping. Just this one thing that got me tripping. And Call Lightning is nice because it's a circular AoE rather than a line AoE, which can sometimes be more important to hit. Sometimes you need to hit a group of enemies that are in like more of a pack rather than in a straight line. Usually Lightning Bolt is better, but it's nice to have that option. For sure. I think with Storm Sorcery you also get Creator Destroy Water, but you got that with Cleric. So what do we grab? I think we should probably grab some spells that, you know, are just good on everything. Hold Person is really good. Invisibility is really good. If you're Wizard, I would actually grab Knock, because you can't really get Knock from any scrolls. There are scrolls of See Invisibility, I think, or you can get Bolo's Eye. Arcane Lock also slept on and you can't get a scroll for. Personally, if I was a wizard, I would grab these two spells since the other ones can be learned pretty easily. Clouded Daggers is good. Hold Person, I think there are scrolls for this. This is good. Invisibility, really good. Yeah, those are the spells that I like the most. Arcane Lock is Abjuration as well to build your stacks. But if you're not Wizard, then I would probably grab like maybe Clouded Daggers. You only get one on Sorcerer though, so Clouded Daggers or Hold Person. Invisibility is very solid though, but since I am Sorcerer, I'm grabbing Knock and I'm grabbing Arcane Lock. You guys might be like, what the fuck is the point of this? This literally can cut off enemies from like entering, right? For 10 turns, the door can't be opened. It's really good, guys. They might attack the door, but then they waste their turn anyway. For example, you know how you can fight Priestess Gut in Act 1? In that one, in like her little room where she takes you and is like, oh, close the door behind you if you want to get cleansed or whatever. And you can ambush her there. Well, if you could lock that door and then they have to just, all the enemies have to wait for you to kill her. And you could just go into her like room and leave the combat. So there are a lot of instances like that where you can actually make use of this ability and it'll build some Abjuration stacks. Is it niche? Yeah, it's pretty niche, but when it works, it works. Gortash won't do much talking about this, but there's a door that you can lock off from, like, if you didn't shut down a certain type of enemy. So that makes the fight trivial. But yeah, so I would probably take off Tasha's and put on like probably, actually, nah, no need for a level 2 spell right now. You could just sort these in, but if you picked a, like, obviously Clouded Daggers, I would put that in, or Hold Person, I would put that in. But if you're not, on Wizard, you can swap anything out anyway, right? So cantrips, like I said, these never matter. I'll just grab this. Who gives a fuck, right? And then we got more access to the same spells, blah, blah. Not a big deal. It's our next level where we should unlock the new ones. But the feat, it's not a big deal, guys. There's nothing that's really going to help us very much. Obviously, ability improvement, always solid. We're going to get two feats, okay? So if you're getting the hair, the hag's hair, ability improvement for sure. If you're not getting the hag's hair, I would probably grab, well, it depends actually as well. If you're a sorcerer, I think resilient is good. Resilient charisma, because you're 17 anyway. This is going to take you to 18. Charisma, some other things that are good for charisma. Actor, this gives you expertise and deception and performance. Deception especially is good. And if you're trying to get that stupid achievement where you're playing your thing, this can be useful as well for performance. And there are some performance checks, especially, but they're mostly for Bard. But that's only if you went and talked to Alfira or whatever and got the ability to play an instrument, then you would be able to do the achievement. But Deception is really good. Deception is a pretty useful one to have for the proficiency. And then you get +1 to charisma anyway. I think actors kind of slept on for charisma-based classes because of that. There's also the one that lets you play instruments. That's useless in comparison to resilient, in which case you get proficiency in charisma saving throws. Is this good? Not really, but it's +1, and there's really not a big use for anything. I mean, you could grab ability improvement and just pump like 2 charisma, but that's only if you expect to get the last charisma anyway. I like this. It's just a little bonus because you're going to be getting ability improvement next time. So grab that, or for me, for my sake, I'll grab intelligence. When do I have an intelligence saving throw? Basically never, but it's not a big deal. There's no really other option, so one of those two basically. You at least get actor as a choice if you are a sorcerer. But having the difference between 18 and 19 is there's no difference. Now we're cooking, guys. Lightning bolt, and if you're sorcerer, I don't think you're level 5 here, so you don't get it till next level, but you already get lightning bolt. So that's really all we give a shit about, guys. Lightning bolt is really good. 48 damage if they're wet. Then you're doing fucking 96 damage. That's crazy, guys. That's crazy, and that's to everybody that gets hit that's wet. Really, really good. 96 damage is no joke for a level 3 spell, okay? What other spell do you know that can do 96 damage? Like, I think level 5... No. Level 6 Disintegrate can do up to 100 damage, but it's not guaranteed. It's between 50 and 100. So this is huge. This is huge. This is a level 6 spell if they're wet, dude. Like, for real. And it's for the cost of level 3. And don't even get me started. You can upcast it too. Really fucking good. Don't sleep on this. This is why we run the build. It takes you to level 7 to get here, but you're already pretty good. In the like early-ish mid game. You should be getting to level 7 at around the start of Act 2, maybe mid of Act 2. And you're just a powerhouse for the rest of the game. This is where you come online. And then obviously, what do we want to grab for the other one? For Wizard? For Wizards, it's a tough choice. I would probably say Glyph of Warding for Abjuration. Glyph of Warding is going to grant you a circular AoE. What am I talking about, bro? I forgot about Glyph of Warding, bro. Chain, the Call Lightning, while you do get 10 turns of it, Glyph of Warding is going to grant you Abjuration stacks. You can Lightning this for the double damage, and it's a circular AoE. You get to choose. Wizard is just so good, guys, but if you really want to play Sorcerer and be the face, you could. And the next level, we'll probably grab something like Counterspell, maybe Haste, you know, something like that. Slow can be good, too. Slow can be good. But yeah, something like that. Something like that, yeah. Dude, fuck, dude, Abjuration Wizard is so good. Abjuration Wizard, Glyph of Warding, building your Abjuration stacks while doing circular AoE damage? Oh my god, this build is so savage, boys. This build is so savage. Let's get some of this shit out of here. Boom, boom. We need these two. We need these two. This is the best reason why to grab Abjuration. See, I make these builds and I know what I'm going for, but I don't really think about this stuff until I approach it. And then I realize just how powerful it is. Like, I knew the build was busted, but Abjuration with Tempest is even more busted than I remembered. And it's funny because I played Honor Mode with this build, this exact build, Abjuration Tempest. Beat Honor Mode with this build, obviously with a mixture of other ones. And I just forgot about this shit. I guess I was spamming Chain Lightning at the end of the game, so. Yeah, hold person probably for your level 2 here. I still think that this is like shield and mage armor are good. Chromatic Orb, we could probably take Clouded Daggers instead, I guess, you know? Clouded Daggers is just nice to have concentration on. What else do we concentrate on? If we're not concentrating on hold person, we can concentrate on Clouded Daggers. But do we really give a shit about 4 to 16 damage? Sometimes. Sometimes. Level 1, it's tough. I like Longstrider, but if somebody else has it, then we take these two. We can actually fit it in the build, actually, so we're good. We're Gucci gang. Magic Missile is just really nice because it's 5 hits. If you have the amulet, it's 4 hits, and then at level 2, it's 5 hits, and you never want to cast at level 3 because you have Lightning Bolt and Glyph Warding, but 5 hits is really good to just bust things down, and it's guaranteed damage. But if they have stacks of something, I'm going to use an example here. I mean, even in the end game, if they have stacks of the fucking ball people that have those stacks of something, that makes them, reduces the damage to 1. I'm forgetting I'm drawing a blank on the name, but you guys know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, then don't worry about it, you'll see. But basically, some people have stacks that like reduce the damage to 1 or negate damage, and you just have to hit them a lot to get rid of it. And there's things like that in this game that Magic Missile just really works on well. So I always like to have that at least on a person or two. This is where we get busted, by the way. We get Projected Ward. This is where we can literally use our ward to make our allies take a shit ton less damage. It's 12 less damage if we have max stacks, which is very good on each hit too that they take. So if it's a lot of different hits, sometimes it'll negate it completely. Don't even get me started if you have Blade Ward or the level 2 Cleric spell that I'm drawing up. I'm drawing a lot of blanks today, but Warding Bond on. Then it's half damage, and then after the half damage, minus this. Abjuration Wizard is really, really broken, guys. We get another 2 choices for spells, like I said, something like Haste and maybe Counterspell. Counterspell's really good. Fear can be good too. If you don't want to worry about concentrating on Haste, you can grab Fear. Fear is really powerful. Yeah, so if you, especially like I said, if you're the only guy, I would definitely drop this for Counterspell. And I would probably drop Hold Person. Nah, I would drop this shit since we got a slot. Keep Hold Person up. Hold Person is good. Fear is really nice too. Fear is really nice. It's a cone AoE. Makes them skip their turn for 2 turns. Makes them drop their fucking weapon. That can be huge if you can hit a boss with this. A lot of people are immune to Fear. Not a lot. Not a ton, okay? But a lot of bosses are immune to Fear. More than 50%, I don't think so, but there's a lot of them. More than you would expect. But for the ones you can't hit with that shit, it's really good. Alright, level 9/level 7 wizard. Okay, we're getting access to level 4 spells at this level. Unfortunately, not a lot of good options for a lightning build for level 4 spells. So it's kind of a toughie what you want to pick. I like Fire Shield on Abjuration Wizard because you can do the cold one, and then when people hit you, maybe they're wet, and then they take fucking a ton of damage. It's kind of one of the reasons why you might want to pick Sorcerer, to put a level into Sorcerer to get Abjuration, to get Armor of Agathis, because Armor of Agathis upcasted on Abjuration Wizard can be very powerful. But as Abjuration Wizard, if you're just going for damage and you just like basically want to be unkillable damage dealer with the Tempest build, then Fire Shield is enough. And you won't be needing this as much, but it's really nice to get double 32 damage sometimes, you know, 64 damage. If you max roll this, when somebody hits you and they're wet, it's really powerful. And they can just dealing damage to people when you're wet is nice. Get resistance to cold as well, which can be nice just in case you get wet. But yeah, I mean, Fire Shield is nice to have. And for your second one, Ice Storm is kind of cool, but when will you need Ice Storm? Making the ground slippery can be very useful. Greater invisibility can be pretty fun if you have like a rogue or something. They can just burst down people while they maintain the invisibility and stay out of combat. It's pretty good, and I think they can use sneak attack with it too. So Gloomstalker Assassin maybe might be very good with this. I think that's guaranteed crits on the hit too. But we'd have to see. I think greater invisibility can be very powerful with the right synergy. Minor elementals can be good if you want to conjure something up. Polymorph is fun. Banishment is okay. I don't really like Everd's Black Tentacles. If you have melee characters, it makes it hard for them to go attack the people in them. You can really pick whatever you want, though. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab Polymorph. The second one really doesn't matter unless you have like a Gloomstalker or something. Greater invisibility can be very powerful. At least have this one prepared. At least have the Fire Shield prepared. I think it's too good not to prepare. Level 10. Like I said, let's grab Greater Invisibility, and I really think I like Ice Storm because it can still do the double damage. It's not going to be as good because it's not going to like max the double damage unless you get lucky. But having the option to turn the ground to ice can be useful. And then you get your second feat, which is going to be ability improvement. Or I guess if you didn't grab Resilient earlier, you can get that to 20 with Resilient. I personally think you should grab Resilient just for the fact that you get the bonus saving throws. Not that it's a huge deal on either Wisdom or Charisma, but just nice to have in comparison to having nothing. Level 11, we're getting access to level 5 spells at this point. We should be getting close, if not already having our level 6 spell slot, in which case we can learn Chain Lightning on Wizard. You're Act 3 at this point anyway. You just go to Sorcerer's Sundries and buy the scroll, or you might have found it. Cone of Cold can be nice. I like Cone of Cold because it's still double the damage, and it's a cone, which is not very useful. But it's better than just being one target. So this can be nice for wet people. Hold Monster is the most OP spell in this game, by the way, guys. Not really, but it is very good. I consider this at least an A tier, probably an S tier spell, for the fact that you can cast this on bosses and just completely ruin their lives. One of the hardest bosses in the game can be absolutely destroyed by this spell. He only is able to be held by it once per turn, but you can cast it again next turn. Or you could just kill him in that turn, possibly. I killed him in probably 1 to 2 turns on Honor Mode with this spell. It's very, very good. This spell is very, 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 very good. Most everything can be held by Hold Monster. The only thing that can't is Undead. So that's kind of a sad thing, but usually Undead can just be bursted down with lightning anyway. Most things can be, but like I said, some of the like really hard bosses in this game, Hold Monster counters them. So really, really good. Grab Hold Monster, grab Cone of Cold, and if you upcast it at level 6, you can target 2 people with it, which is really nice. Polymorph, no, let's take Hold Monster instead. Cone of Cold I'm not even going to put in. Actually, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, guys. I like Ice Storm more than Cone of Cold. It's really bad. It's not really bad, but like the damage is not there, honestly. And yeah, it's just okay. So this is kind of where I would consider as Abjuration. You might have wanted to put a level like multi-class again. This is nice and all. When you short rest, you get the Arcane Ward. So if you have trouble building your Arcane Ward, you could just short rest to get it to basically max, because it starts halved and then you can short rest real quick and then it's full. But I don't think you should be having much trouble building it. You could always build it out of combat too by just spamming your level 1 spell slots with like mage armor or something. There's a build guide I have on Abjuration Wizard to see that kind of shit, but you might want to put a level in Sorcerer here. If you were Sorcerer already, I mean, you've already got everything you want, so it's all good. But yeah, if you chose Wizard, you might want to consider putting a level in Sorcerer for Armor of Agathis, or you could take this if you like. It's not really a big deal anyway, but the only problem is we don't really give a shit about any of these other spells. I mean, Cloud Kill, why would we use this? Like, I don't think we would want to waste our turn on this, personally. Banishment, you know, like I said, I talked about earlier, Telekinesis is fun. I'd probably take Telekinesis here. And maybe, like, I don't know, dude, like, there's just not a lot of good spells left to take. So, I don't know, I'll take Haste as well, right? Cantrips, like I said, it's useless. This level just really isn't as powerful as if you just grabbed like a level in Sorcerer, and then went and grabbed Draconic Bloodline, Dragon Ancestor, I believe it's white, yeah, and then grabbed white, got Armor of Agathis, and then you upcast that, and now you're dealing damage to people who attack you with a big amount. So that's probably what I'd recommend if you rolled Wizard. No, we don't give a shit about any of this. I don't even care about the spells they give us. It looks kind of cool on the Shadow Art too, the white scales. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very powerful. As you can see, let me just show you how it works real quick. I'll use it on Withers. Not Withers, I'll use it on Elsa, because Withers won't take any damage. So if I get Elsa wet, she's not wet. Let me go into turn-based mode just to show. And then I can go ahead and cast Lightning Bolt. If I had Chain Lightning, I probably can learn it. Chain, do I have it? Do I have a scroll? Scroll Chain Lightning. I can literally learn Chain Lightning right now. 10 to 80 damage. Like I said, I can learn that right now. Let me just fucking cast the spell. 45% because I don't have the gear, by the way, but it should still hit. I don't think it's an attack roll. And then Destructive Wrath. And I could even protect her with Projected Ward too. 160 damage. She's just been one shot, boys. She's just been fucking one shot. Dude, it's really crazy. This build is really powerful. You do a lot of damage, and by the way, that 160 damage, that's gonna go to, oh shit, she's just gonna keep dying. It's no big deal. That's gonna hit 3 other people, and if it's a huge enemy, like I said, it's going to hit him 4 times total. So that's 160 times 4. You do the math on that. It's a lot. Okay, that's like over 500 damage. Okay, maybe even 600 damage. That's enough to one-shot like 90% of the bosses in this game. But that's only if they're huge, obviously. If they're not huge and they're normal size or large or whatever, is it huge? Yeah. If they're large or below, then it's just gonna hit them once, but 160 is a massive chunk. If you're sorcery, you could quick cast, but that won't be able to be, you won't be able to use your channel divinity on that, unfortunately, because it's once per turn since it uses your reaction. But yeah, it's very powerful, very huge damage. Lightning Bolt is just the same. It's going to do about 70, I think. Let me see. Lightning Bolt is 48. Oh no, it's going to do just about 100 damage, which is huge. And that's everybody in a line. Sometimes it actually might be more useful to use Lightning Bolt. And then obviously if you have, for the itemization here, where's Elsa? She should have, I thought I got her. I don't think I got her the staff. No, we didn't open the staff, but Marka Heshkir or whatever. Let me see, can I go to it? Not Call Lightning, let's go Chain Lightning. Marka Heshkir, yeah, this will allow you to cast Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt every short rest. So when you start, you get to cast it. Cast them both, then you short rest, you get to cast them both again, then you short rest, and you can cast them both again. So that's 3 casts of each per long rest, plus any additional casts you get from being a wizard. With the level 6 spell slot, you can learn Chain Lightning, and then also either or you get to cast Lightning Bolt. So that's very, very powerful. Marka Heshkir you definitely should get on this build for that reason. Yeah, very insane build, guys. 100% recommend this for your honor mode runs. I feel like for me, whenever I try to make like some sort of like wizard or some kind of mage build, it's kind of like stealth archer in Skyrim. I always end up coming back to this build, just because it's so fucking good. Mainly that being the Tempest one, not necessarily in combination with Abjuration Wizard. Abjuration Wizard is very powerful, but just the damage that this can input. Like, I try to do damage, I try to be like, I don't know, like a Pyro or like a Necromancer. And like, even with the Staff of Cherished Necromancy, like, it just feels like shit, because Necromancy spells are such dick in comparison to hitting somebody with this build who's wet. So, 100% recommend it for your honor mode runs. It's so fucking good. If you're trying to play this game unbalanced, I mean, you're gonna pretty much not have a hard time anyway. But you just want to steamroll through the game. This is one of the best ways to do it, especially if you want to play a caster. So yeah, guys, leave a like on the video if you thought that this build was pretty good or helpful. Make sure to check out my other Baldur's Gate 3 guides. I've actually just recently 100%ed the game. I'm kind of goated with the sauce. So you guys can do that too with builds like this. This game is awesome, guys. Yeah, check them out. Sub if you want to watch more videos too. I've got a lot of new guides that I want to do and new things for the game. I also probably will I want to stream. It's kind of tough to stream, but I'll stream when I can. I'm doing like a solo honor run right now, if you guys want to check that out. I'm actually showing off, like, I'm using the druid build I made, the sanctuary druid. Check it out to see, and hopefully I've been beating the game, by the way, in like one day. I've beat the game in one day, like 2 separate times, so maybe I'll do like streams where I just straight up beat the game with the build, because I feel like I can do that. It only takes like about 8 hours if I'm efficient. So yeah, peace and hair grease, guys. Hope you enjoyed.